Welcome to Subramani. One question which many people have been asking me is, how should a young person invest? When I say young person, it means about 22, 23 years of age, I guess. And how should that person invest? Now, there is no one single answer. Let us take a case of a person, of a young boy or girl who has just qualified, done an MBA from a decent school and has got a job which is paying about 5-6 lakhs, 7 lakhs maybe. So it's not a great salary, but it is a damn good salary for a starter. And let us take that this girl has to support her parents. Her parents are not very well off. She's got a younger sister who is still studying. She's 7-8 years younger. She's got an old aunt staying with them, and she has got to pay rent for the house, or let's ignore the rent, and she has to meet all the household expenses, including her father's medical expenses, which itself is about 2,000-3,000 rupees a month. Take this situation, take this girl's situation versus another girl whose parents are, she's a single grandchild on both sides. I know one girl, so I can think of whom I'm talking about. She's a single grandchild from both sides. As of today, if everybody else in her family dies, she inherits about 50 crores, right? Are both these people going to invest similarly? The answer is no. The first girl that we spoke about needs to have an emergency fund first, because something could go wrong, right? If something goes wrong in her family to her, then the family will suffer. So first thing is to build an emergency fund. Second is to take term insurance. It's very important for her to take term insurance. Third, very important is for her to take medical insurance for all the people in the family. Whoever can be covered for whatever. Everybody needs to be covered for a simple fracture, because that could cause a minuscule, simple meniscus tear in your leg can cost you about 4 lakhs for an operation. Such a small thing. You don't even realize that you need an operation, and you end up paying 4 lakhs for it. So the first girl should definitely take term insurance, because if she dies, that family comes onto the road. She's the only earning member, and there are 5-6 people dependent on her. The second girl that we are talking about does not need insurance, because there's nobody dependent on her. Everybody is earning very well. There's a lot of wealth, so she does not need any insurance. She does not even need medical insurance. She can afford to depend on her company medical insurance, whereas the first girl has to take medical insurance apart from what her company is providing, and she has to take medical insurance for the others in the family. She cannot afford to say, oh, the premium is too high, because the cost of not paying the premium can be far worse than... So where should the first girl be investing? She should start doing a recurring deposit of at least 5,000-7,000 rupees in a simple bank account. She does not need any other product today to start with, till she builds up, say, 6 months, 8 months expenses in the bank. So first step is that. After that, I mean, she has to take a term insurance, and then after she's done that, and if she does not want to spend too much time on investing lessons, etc., she should choose an index fund. But creating that emergency fund, which could be for anything from replacing a fridge to some short circuit in the house, something gets burned, something happened, things like that, to a medical emergency. Yes, of course, we know that we have a health insurance policy in place. That's fine. But if they pay 70% of the claim or 80% of the claim, suppose the claim is 5 lakhs and they pay 80% of the claim, you still need to pay up 1 lakh. What if you have a co-pay? Right? So check out all that, see how much you will need. And so if you are a person who is from that strata of society, you may not even have friends, relatives, etc., whom you can call up and say, hello uncle, I need so much money. Maybe you don't have such, you're living in a place where everybody is like that, and you may be the emergencies fund provider to some of your neighbors. So it could be that. Whereas the second girl will not even have an emergency, simply because everything is provided for. Her father's company provides her with medical insurance. She need not even take medical insurance. Yes, she should take medical insurance, because going forward, her father will retire and then she needs medical insurance, right? So some of those things, so how each person invests will be different. So if you are from a prosperous family, you could have a pet, and that pet might require some attention. So therefore, you may require some emergency funding. So depending on what all you need, you create an emergency fund. Depending on how many people you support, you create an emergency fund. Depending on how stable your job is, you create an emergency fund. And if you are that first girl category, that you have so many dependents, for heaven's sake, keep all the money in the bank account, because that is the easiest way your family can access. You may be able to, you may know how to access your ultra short bond fund. Your family may know only how to access the bank deposit. So make sure that these are all either or survivor chota fixed deposits of 15,000, 30,000, 25,000, 4-5 fixed deposits, all aggregating to 2-3 lakhs, which could be your say 1 year's expenses or 8 months expenses. Keep that in one place in the bank, and that's how you start. Then take term insurance, then take health insurance. That is all for the first girl, and then she can start investing later on. The second girl has to invest more in experiences, more in having fun. Maybe she should make a trip to Europe. Maybe she should make a backtracking trip to US, and she has to invest in experiences. For her, it is very easy to go and buy a phone for 1.5 lakhs. That's great. Buy it by all means, but know how to use it, because are you going to derive value from the phone? Are you going to buy it and just flaunt it, or are you going to actually derive value? If you know how to derive value, 1 lakh rupee phone is worth it. If you don't know how to derive value, even a 30,000 rupee phone is an expensive phone. So know how to derive value, invest in experiences, go around with friends, invest in health, invest in knowledge, invest in education, right? You've done your MBA, but you can afford it, and you get an Ivy League school MBA. By all means, take it if you can afford it. This is meant for the second girl. It's not meant for the first girl, right? So understand that each person is going to be different, but some of the basics have to be in place. You have to have an emergency fund, or you have to have somebody who is your emergency fund. In case your father is your emergency fund, you should know that your father is your emergency fund, and your father will give you money wherever you are. He will make sure it reaches you. Take a term insurance if it is appropriate. It is appropriate for the first girl in our example, not at all appropriate for the second girl. The second girl, there is nobody dependent. As and when she gets married, she'll get married to a guy of her class. So he would be adequately provided, or he would provide for you. So she may not need. But if the two of them decide to do some business, they may need some term insurance, keyman insurance, etc. So circumstances will change. But I am talking of a fresh, young graduate just out of MBA school. What do they need? They need an emergency fund, they need term insurance, they need medical insurance, independent of what the company is giving. And basically, once you have this, you start investing in an index fund, and that's how you start. Later on, you could pick up 1 or 2 shares every year and build a portfolio over 25 years. You could build a 30, 40, 50 share portfolio. Do you need to do it on day one? No. On day one, for the second girl, I would suggest that she should put money in her friends' startups. If there are friends doing startups, join them. That experience is good. Don't get into that, oh, I should put money in an index fund. Yes, for the first girl, yes, she has no risk-taking ability. For the second girl, no, this is not true. Just go have fun. Invest in your friend's business. Do all those things. One day it will fail, or one day they will throw you out, or you will want to get out because you don't like what they are doing. Parting of ways will happen. By the time you're 32, 33, if your startup has not taken off, nothing has happened, at that stage you can always choose to put your money in an index fund. Index fund is a very, very defensive strategy. If you think you're going to play the game on the front foot, index fund is not for you. But if you are a person who is full time into technology and working on all that and doing nothing with your money, index funds are great. So please understand, there is a single question: how should young people invest? But the answers can be as much different as the number of kids who are there. So for a brother and a sister, my advice could be different. For same batch, everything else looking similar, my advice could be different, because advice is catered to one single individual. But general gyan is saying put money in an index fund, do exercise, eat dal chawal, keep a simple life. This is generic, right? Whether you need generic, you have to decide based on your investing preferences. Thank you.